Hello, friends. Day 53. Bar is closed. So still on my little voyage here back in Denver, actually in Boulder. Oddly enough, I hunkered out down in here in a hotel room with 67 mile per hour winds and more, and a blazing fire going across the dry lands here. Apparently the power outage here in Boulder, Colorado over the holidays blew up some capacitors and started a raging fire. 40-something thousand people without power at the moment going into the new year, and tons of people had to leave their homes. So you're always reminded, just how much more complicated it gets and how many more complex things in life show up that can throw us left and throw us right. For me, obviously, how much I can be grateful for versus what I'm challenged with or struggling with. And then I guess that's a little bit of the scenery, a little bit of the ambience of where I'm at now, kind of a couple days from getting back up into Story and settling back into the Stone House and wrapping up the last few days of this first season in 60 Days Sobriety. I can give my 100% word to everyone who's listening and anyone who's not, and to myself and to God, that I have not had a drop of alcohol in the time that I'm here from when I started. Not one. I have not had one drag off of a cigarette. I have not had one cigarette. So from me to God to you, this is an honest sculpture of my perfect iconic self of myself, and see where I stand with that and what I still need to chisel away, and what the weather has worn away, and ultimately who am I underneath all that, and is it present? So what I can say now is that, I still order my non-alcoholic beers, what I like, a drink here and there, of course, but I do really enjoy the kind of no factor, the just say no. I was thinking that earlier today about the whole, drug movement, just say no, right? Well, who just says no, right? When you want the drugs or when the drugs are around you. I mean, I don't know. That didn't work on me, and growing up, I didn't hear anybody else kind of put the hand up and say, no, pass that along. I mean, maybe here and there, but not to just say no. But in this case, the self-designated, you can't tell me what to do, but I can. No has been a clear no. And it's something I have to live into. And if I didn't, then I would be fucking hard on myself. So I don't need that in my life right now. I can have other people be hard on me, but I don't need to be fucking hard on myself. So I feel really in my integrity here. And, this countdown is easy now. So it's really more of a decay of the song. It's kind of settling down into the final season. This has been my reality. And I've been thinking about where I want to take it from here. But first thing is, number one, I think I grasped, we walked through a lot of conversations here around the why and when. And so for me, kind of a recap on that is early on, normal teenage experimental stuff, even some face plant on the floor, can't lift it off the floor, drunk with my buddies moments. That was recreation, that was young, that was experimental, and no surprise there. But the first time, that I really started pouring down the elixir and putting in the potion was when I could experience myself and my own emotional theatrics through my first heartbreaks, through the first, breakups that gave me a reason to quote unquote drink and spin out of control. And then I try to avoid that as much as I can, the heartbreak that is, and keep the drinking recreational. But of course that kind of seeded in and taught me that, oh shit, if something really goes wrong, you get real drunk and you figure it out from there. And so that was a general practice for most of my life. And there are some traumatically and dramatically embarrassing moments in that, to be honest. I wouldn't want to watch that footage back, I can tell you that much. But then it moved into, as I said, this kind of concept around success lies in drinking. The rich people on TV, the presidents, the wealthy, if you will, sitting around with their cocktail glasses, the romantic advertising with those glasses of whiskey, and the, like I said, all the poets and the frickin' writers and the comedians and the actors and the musicians. I mean, I think about Richard Pryor and showing us what it was like for him to be, cranking on cocaine for days and having his people try to get him out, of the basement and into the hospital, and him actually doing heroin on stage, visually explaining what that addiction was like for him. And most of his comedy was around that. And again, I don't need to keep repeating names. There's just so many examples of, in my young mind, influential mind, that success, whether it be creative success, financial success, professional success of some kind of caliber, had to come with some kind of drug and alcohol use. It was the way to get there. That was my example. Or at least I claimed it as such, and I truly believed it for a long time. Obviously, I saw other people who didn't choose that path. I don't know what their private stories are, and they've become great successes. And I've talked about that distinction between me. I didn't really like the straight and sober personality type. I didn't like the goody-goody two-shoes. I like to be kind of a good boy, bad boy, and alcohol and drugs for that matter, and all of that suited me just fine. And I figured if it worked for these guys, it's going to work for me eventually. And so now, as I even started this embarkment on wondering, could I even fucking like myself without drinking? Would I even enjoy the person I become? Or am I going to be a washed out, give up, goody two-shoe, non-drinker, right? Non-drugs, non-drinking kind of mentality or whatever. And I'm not going to lie and say that still doesn't startle me a little bit. It still doesn't spook me, that nothing fantastic or nothing rich or nothing extraordinary can come out of me without some potion, without some experimentation, even with some other drugs for that matter. Whether they be guided psilocybin or some of the really fun stuff these days that are really coming out. I'm not a big cocaine person, as I mentioned before. I've done those here and there, and I was able to keep that very recreational. I was able to keep a lot of those types of acid a few times here and there. All that kind of stuff in my life was kept in check, very recreational. Alcohol, no, that was not. Smoked some herb in my lifetime, and that doesn't take me off track, But at the end of the day, can I actually create the best version of myself without walking the line of that potion poison experimentation? Does a purely sober Heath Burr have the same guts and the same passion and the same chutzpah that I do when I can do whatever the fuck I want, and drinking included? So that's 47. And so we're going to cut that piece. So that's not 47. I don't even know where that number came from. So editor, please cut that piece. So that is 53. And that's just goes to show how much I'm losing track of the days. Doesn't even matter. I'm looking forward to rolling into 60 days and figure out what I do from there. Thanks again. Good night.